more and more people are looking for professional help in these stressful times. But how do you know if the psychologist you consult is licensed?
CBS 2's investigative team went undercover and found unlicensed psychologists just playing mind games. Pam Zeckman joins us now with the details. Pam.
Antonio and Tracy, there are no laws that prevent anyone from claiming to be a therapist or a psychotherapist. The only thing that is clear is that you have to have a state license to call yourself a psychologist. A rocky economy, layoffs by the thousands. On top of that, dealing with a mother's death, cancer, and emergency heart surgery, this family needed professional help. They turned to Jenny Bernardi, who told them she was a doctor, a psychologist.
She made me feel like she could help us.
But Bernardi was not licensed. Do you think she sized you up as
A sucker.
We wanted to find out if others are claiming to be psychologists when they're not, so we pulled out the yellow pages. Then we flipped to psychologist and found James Mark, a mistake he says he's tried to get corrected for years. And on this website, Mark describes himself as a licensed marriage and family therapist, but he's not licensed as anything. Mark denies that he tells patients that he's a psychologist, but when we went undercover as potential patients,
he told us he was a mastered psychologist.
In my opinion, that's misleading.
Ken Kessler is on the state licensing board for psychologists, and he's president of the Illinois Psychological Association.
Unless the person has the license, they cannot use the word psychologist to describe what they do.
Gerald Green was a licensed psychologist until 1988, when the state revoked his license. Why? Because Green had a sexual relationship with a patient. Also, the University of Oklahoma had withdrawn his PhD because Green plagiarized his dissertation. Now, Green lists himself in the yellow pages under counseling. But when we visited Green as possible patients,
I asked him if a psychologist like him would be able to help our severely depressed brother, and he responded without hesitation, absolutely. He then gestured dramatically to all the certificates on his wall as evidence of his qualifications.
we took a closer look, and there was the PhD from Oklahoma, along with certificates from organizations Green no longer belongs to, raising questions Green refused to answer. But experts say there's only one credential you should look for.
The first thing that you want to do is look at whether or not the person is licensed by the state.
Obviously, that's no guarantee there won't be problems, but having a license does guarantee that a psychologist has a PhD, passed a state exam, and is required to follow ethical standards of practice. That takes us back to Jenny Bernardi, who's been criminally charged with practicing without a license.
The potential exists for great harm to come to the people who seek out the services of individuals who aren't licensed and aren't qualified to practice.
Bernardi has also been charged with 2 counts of theft for stealing from patients.
Ms. Bernardi, I'm Pam Zeckman from Channel 2. I wanted to ask you about the charges against you.
I have no comment. You have to talk to my lawyer, please.
No comment about the patient who says she gave Bernardi a $10,000 check and $2,000 in cash, threatening to kill herself if Bernardi didn't pay her back.
That's playing with fire?
That's playing with something far more volatile than fire. That's playing with dynamite.
The Vogelfangers lent Bernardi $20,000.
She'd utilized her therapeutic relationship with us to take advantage of us and ultimately take us for money.
Money the couple had saved for their retirement but never got back because the check Bernardi gave them bounced. Now they're still looking for answers.
How could you do this? You knew how vulnerable we were at the time. How could you take our money? How could you take our dream?
They believed that you were a psychologist, you told them you had a PhD, and that you betrayed their trust.
Please, I have no comment.
Through her lawyer, Bernardi denies telling patients she's a psychologist, only a psychotherapist, which does not require a license. Her attorney says Bernardi made some errors in judgment, but had no criminal intent to steal money from patients and wants to pay it back. In total, Bernardi now owes more than $100,000 to patients, acquaintances, and an insurance company investigating her apparently fraudulent bills. To protect yourself, you can check out whether a mental health professional is licensed on the website for the State Department of Professional Regulation. You'll find the link on our website at cbs2chicago.com. Antonio and Tracy?
Incredible, Pam.